Alright guys, how are you doing? It's been an interesting week this week, in an unusual way. I've been quite busy, run up to Christmas, still been dealing with the multi-finish situation where it's not been very pleasing to work with, and I was doing a job just the other day, yesterday in fact, and it was going to be a very early day for me. It was an easy job, it was some patching in. I was using some multi-finish with the expiration date of the 3rd next year, and I believe it was B2. I'm getting confused now what I've been using. I'm taking note of all the batch numbers at the moment. So I thought I was going to get home early and start making a video, but unfortunately whilst I was working I got sent these pictures that I'm going to show you now from a builder that I had been doing some work for the previous week. Now this particular wall was done Tuesday, and so yesterday was Thursday, so that's how long it's been up. So apparently the bead got knocked, which showed a little bit of something, and then it started to fall off. And as you can see, have a look at the footage I got there, and we'll have a little bit of a talk afterwards about what happened. Right, let's do that. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm in here now. I'll show you the batch number to this. Now this is quite bizarre actually. So I've got to call back because this wall in particular, plaster has been failing. The primer was PVA. It was over painted surface which literally had no suction whatsoever, and I can feel this is PVA because look, if I keep rubbing that I can get into it and I can feel that is livening back up like PVA, so it's got a tack to it. So the plaster has not adhered to the PVA. And it's come off clean. Here you can see the two separate coats. In some areas it's not adhered to itself. You'll see the first coat and the second coat, and we're able to prise that second coat away from the first coat. Look at that. It's not even adhered to itself. Now I have done nothing different to what I've been doing for the last 30 years, and I've never seen this fail in such a way. Painted surface primed with PVA. The PVA is still good. I can still it's emulsifying. We've had all the loose plaster off. I have re-PVA'd it. I can't remember what brand of PVA it is, but it's not, you know, it's the usual consistency. It's quite creamy, you know. You can see it sticking there, nothing different to usual. But what is unusual is I have managed to get a hold of, yes, you can see it, look, board finish. And this board finish does not have B2 or B3 written on the side. It has this code here, which starts with the number 5. And the expiration date is, so this would have been bagged up at, looks like 11:30. So that would be 4 months from this date here. So that's what the shelf life is. So yeah, 11/03/26. And yeah, looked up the board finish. We'll see how it goes. It's still hanging a little bit, but it's much paler in the colour, and it does have a smell that I haven't smelt for quite a while. So there we go, that's what happened. I had to go back because it had failed. It's probably important to mention as well, so that wasn't the only surface there that I went over which was painted and PVA'd. There were some other surfaces and they seemed to be okay. The only difference between that wall and the other walls which did not fail or have not failed, is that that was an exterior wall. The temperature was a bit low in there, but like I say, I haven't done anything different to what I normally do, and I was very surprised to see that come off. When that was coming off, it looked like it was I had plastered over a fresh, an old plaster, but it wasn't. That was like the chalky residue. So like there was some sort of plaster that kind of seemed to have stuck to the PVA, but it had come away. So that paint was blue. Okay, that's what colour that wall was. And when that plaster popped off, it had some plaster left on there that maybe that was in the PVA. But yeah, as you saw when I rubbed it, I licked my finger and I rubbed it and I could wash that plaster off, and you can see it got back to the blue paint. So because through recent events, and I've been doing a lot of stuff on social media, and there has been a lot of talk, and I've heard a lot of rumours, I've had a lot of people come and tell me things from just some people. I'm also got I'm on a WhatsApp group with the product support manager and the finished production manager. I'm on them with WhatsApp, so I literally got a portal to them anytime I want. And of course, I got there and I sent them the video, that clip of me popping that stuff off the wall. And they were very prompt, and within 20 minutes or so, I found myself in a conference call with them, if you like, where the three of us were talking again, and they wanted to know everything. So what's going to happen is they are going to collect this from me again. The support manager himself is going to come down on Sunday morning. I think it's about a 3-hour drive for him. He's going to come down on Sunday morning, and they're going to collect some of the plaster that had come away from the wall and the 2 bags that I have left from that batch. I can't remember if they're B2 or B3, but the expiry date on them is finishing in January, so they're kind of like a little bit like old bags. So, you know, I've been hearing a lot of things from a lot of different people. I'm only really able to talk about what I know and what British Gypsum have confirmed and haven't confirmed. And at the end, we'll talk a little bit more about this. So that's what happened. The plaster failed, and I went back and I fixed it, and to my knowledge, today it is still fixed. So they're going to come collect it, they're going to go and test it. That's what I've got to say about that. For this moment, we're going to talk about this a little bit more. I've got some more information for you. We're going to save it to the end of the video. I've been doing some more research. I've had some information come to me from sources other than British Gypsum that are not necessarily confirmed by British Gypsum. There's stuff that I've heard, but probably is worth mentioning, and it's caused me to have a look at another area that might be worth considering. Right, let's have a look at this other day, which is much more pleasing. And yeah, we'll have a little chat afterwards. Right, here's some more footage. Guys, we are in Fleet today, and it's Friday, and we're just doing a small job, which is ideal for a Friday. It's my kind of Friday job. We're doing this ceiling. I've just got to put a bit of plasterboard in there. Looks like it's been double tacked for some reason. Okay, got to put a little bit of board in it, and we're ready to rock and roll. Apparently all the walls have been tiled. He's got this Acra board, what is it, Pro Warm stuff. So yeah, just gonna plaster the ceiling, and that is it. But I've got something a little bit special in the back of my van to show you. Let's have a look. So let me show you slowly. Look, managed to get some board finish now, and it has this 5 code on it. Expiry date is 11th of the 3rd next year, so it's got a long date on it. There's some multi-finish, we're not using that. British Gypsum are coming to get that. I'm doing a video about that separately from this. I might put them all together, who knows. We've got board finish. I used it yesterday, but this is the first time I'm going to record it. So yeah, it came from a place in Reading. A guy said, I've seen it, a friend of mine. He watches, and he got it for me and dropped it off to where I was working. So let's get on with some board finish plastering. What a treat, eh? Okay then, so here we go with some board finish. Now I've got this left over from yesterday, this bag, because I had to go back and repair that job. So I've already used this board finish over PVA and paint, but today we're using it over fresh plaster. So we're not going to need much at all, are we? So let's get that going in there. Now one thing I did notice straight away, hold on a sec, let's get this spinning round. So one thing I did notice straight away, that the board finish is quite a bit lighter in colour. The multi-finish we've been getting recently has been quite dark and red in colour, okay? Now, the other thing I noticed as well was the smell. It smells different. I thought I'd become immune to the smell of plaster, because I remember when I was learning, and you knocked up multi-finish, I could distinctly smell it, you know? And like I say, through doing it for so many years, I thought maybe I'd just become immune to it. But knocking this up the other day, I smelt it again. I mean, it's hard to tell in this light, but that definitely looks a lot lighter. Let's get this going now. Bring my bucket scoop up. Doesn't appear that I did. Don't worry, because I can use this gauging trout. Give that a bit of a clean off. Doesn't get used that much. So of course we need to scrape around the edges. You guys can see. That feels quite nice. Wow. Hours of fun. Okay, let's get this up there, shall we? Now, I've not put any additives or anything in this, even though it's a small ceiling. So, we're going to get to see what this is acting like in its pure state. No messing around. No gimmicks. Now that is holding itself much nicer than the recent multi-finish we seem to be getting. I've already got some in my hair, which is rather annoying. Long hair and plastering doesn't really go together very well. Should get it cut on that. Now they're down, and one there. It's quite important to get your screw heads really flat. Excuse me. Sometimes when they use the old collated guns, they don't always see the screws going. That must be missing. That one's in, and where was that one? Pop that one out because that's just spinning. Alright, it's in. Okay. Another thing, even though this is being tiled and we're not plastering the walls, I've taken time to scrim up around the edges. It does make things a lot neater. Also ties the wall, the ceiling to the wall as best as you can. And if we hadn't have scrimmed that area up, especially where it's going onto those old blocks, what would happen is the plaster would start bleeding down onto those blocks, and the blocks will start stripping the moisture out of it because they're quite high suction and bone dry. So when you come back to actually flatten in, very often you'll catch one of those dry lumps and you'll drag it all the way across your ceiling and massive great big gouge in it. And you don't want that. Let's get you over there. I've just broken my tripod as well. Let's let you stay up. It's jobs like this where a beer crate comes in handy. Beer crate that I'm standing on. I'll show you it in a minute. It cost me 20 quid off of eBay, and I've had it years. I've had it a long time. Beer crates used to be plentiful, but you can't get them anymore. You have to do things like go on eBay and buy them. And I specifically look for one. Quite often the wine bottle ones are quite good because they give you that little bit of extra height. What I always make sure is the handles on them, on the beer crates, where your hands go to lift up the crate, the holes in there are big enough for you to be able to get your foot in there. You can just lift it up with your foot and place it around where you need to. I'll give you a brief demonstration as soon as I've got this sealer on. Now, remember the difference between board finish and multi-finish, so I've been told, is the board finish has less fine particles in it, which means it holds less water. Now, while we're at it here, different plasterers, and I'm repeating myself from the previous video, different plasterers have different techniques. It's one of the most diverse trades, okay? Getting it flat, you work to your strengths. Some plasterers like to do things one way, some plasterers like to do things another way. And quite often it depends on the working environment, how you do things. I mean, I chop and change my methods depending on what's necessary at the time. I've got big areas to hit, then you might change your style a little bit. So, plaster does like a bit of suction, and I've been using multi-finish, and multi-finish especially likes a bit of suction, and having no suction is where I've been having the most trouble with the recent batches of multi-finish. Now where there's particles in this are grainier, if you like, and it's holding less water, if you can get it, I think for low suction situations, board finish might be the answer, or at least better than multi-finish. And because I'm using multi-finish so much, it's probably one of the reasons I refrain from using SBR unless I really have to, because it kills too much suction. With PVA, I can control the suction better. I can get it to an ideal rate. So that's probably why I'm using PVA, because I can't get hold of board finish until today. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, a very, very, very small sealing, but it's still going to take some amount of time. There's a little bit left on my hawk and that much left in my bucket, but that's cool, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn straight back around and flatten this in, and then I'm going to knock this back just prior to mixing up for the second coat. Don't knock it back now, don't wash it round now. Wait until you're just about to knock up fresh plaster, then wash it round. Otherwise you'll be knocking it back twice and it'll go off even faster on you. So yeah, I'm going to knock back into this, create some dirty water for the second coat on here, okay, and that will speed up the setting time a little bit by using its own properties. Now, I was going to do, have a look at this crate, wasn't me? So, you want to prolong the life of your crate. Look, bit of board screwed on top. This is a German thing now. Look, see, we've got the holes here. These two have gone, unfortunately. But because you've got the holes, which are big enough, you can get your foot in there, and you can lift it around whilst you've still got your hawk and trowel in your hand. Okay, so the light is a little bit compromised in here. So you can see the light directly underneath me. So it's on the floor shining up. So that's how I've put it on. And this is how it's shining up. Last bit of screw in there poking through. We want to kind of sort that out if we can. Get in there, you. Now you're going to have to bear with me because it's difficult. Hold my trowel and record this stuff at the same time. Screw head there. See what it does when you catch them. Makes a little line judder. I'll get that in just a tick and we'll go over it. Sorry, I'm trying to work with the shadow. That's just a little lump there, look. Come from somewhere. I'll have him out. It's Daisy, as I'm not cleaning my trowel up. I'm getting a little bit of build up on that. I've only got one hand. Check that out. Look at that. And that is one, it is in a very wet state. And that is soaking. Look how flat that is. It's much more controllable than the multi-finish we've been receiving recently. Look at that. That's much better. Much better. Right, nothing more we can do to that. I'm going to sort that little screw head out over there and just leave it alone to pick up. So I was a little bit late getting here for one reason or another, and the time is now, just got this on, 9:44 in the morning, okay? Okay, so the time is 20 minutes past 10, and I must say that the temperature is not very warm in here, but as you can see with the touch test, it's not really sticking to my fingers, so I've just mixed up enough now to get a second coat over all this, a nice tight second coat. So that is how the second coat has gone on compared to the first coat. I'm going to get my tools cleaned up, my bucket cleaned out, and I'm going to come back and flatten this in. Just scrape the excess out of my bucket. Bad. I'll have to throw that away. Pains me. I haven't got home for it. Let's do a quick review of this Rafina tub, just for 1 minute, which is pretty good. I believe I got it from, well, I did get it from Dry Lining Supplies in Windlesham. 50 litres there, so you can get 2 bags comfortably in there, 2 bags of finished plaster. And it was quite cheap, and since I think it was about £19. Now, it's not a bad bucket. My only complaint is, look at the bottom. I'm going to get it on camera. You can see the bottom is actually quite warped. We've got these low points here, so it's waving around all over the place, and what that causes to happen is, look at these little pockets. Where's the light gone? Get over here into some light. Get these little puddles of plaster in there, and if you're not careful, when you're knocking up, these start lifting up. You can see there's a high point where the whisk will be continuously catching that, and there's the low point where you get a build up of plaster. So that is my only complaint about this bucket being all warped on the bottom. And it's not even that old. It's a few weeks old. I broke my old bucket, it caused a leak. But I looked in the shop, they were all like that, straight off the shelf. Okay, so what we've done so far is knock up with fresh water, put it on, turn straight back round, flattened it in immediately, pretty much. Left it alone until 20 past 10. Then we mixed back up into that dirty water that we created, and I put a real tight coat over it. Now I've just literally washed my tools, and I've gone over again with the 20x5 carbon steel trowel by Marshalltown, which is predominantly straight. It just kicks up slightly at the front and the back. Not said that for about 3 or 4 days now, probably because all the multi-finish I've been using, and I haven't had a chance to get it out. I've been going much earlier to my flexi trowels, the stainless steel flexi trowels. But let's just jump up there and have a look at this now. I'll bring this light with us. Oh, there's a handle there. So this is the condition we are in at this stage. Cast a light like that, we can pick up any shadows, and I'll tell you what. Ooh, that's me, I'll just hit the ceiling with the light so you can see how wet it is. There we go. That's where we are at the moment. I'm tempted to keep troweling it, it's quite nice. Well, we all know we can't do that, so we're just going to leave it alone for another 10-15 minutes or so. I'm going to start packing some tools away, and we'll come back and have another look at it, yeah? Right, let's have another look at this ceiling. So the light directly underneath us. Okay, now if I come across this way, I can cast a bit of shadow. And is it picking it up? There's a few little bits there. Now see, there's slight, I mean, still using that carbon steel trowel, but there's a tiny little bit of tear in there, which is not unusual at this stage. I've only just taken a very fine wet brush to it, and I've opened the carbon steel 20x5 on it, and it's just starting to tear some of the bigger granules, okay? But that's okay, because it's going to need another 2 trowels or so we'll come back and have a look at it then. But what I will say is, this is in a much better condition at this stage than what I've been getting with the recent multi-finish. And like I said, we're really scrutinising here by casting this shadow across there. But I'll tell you what, all we need to deal now with is closing this surface in. It's holding itself so much better. There is no ripples in there. I know it's only a small ceiling, but there's no swell in this whatsoever. Now all we have to deal with is the chop. We've got things flat using that bigger trowel in the way that we do. Very flat. And you know what? Very often, and I've only used this stuff once yesterday over a painted surface with PVA, but very often with the multi-finish, to get that sheen and get that surface to close in, I'm switching to the stainless flexi trowels with this. And I was thinking about it yesterday, I think I might be using carbon steel all the way. I've not done that for a while. Casting a shadow. So, one more time I've been over it, and I've not switched to a flexi. You can see, I'm using the natural light. Staying with it, carbon steel, 20 the whole time. You can see it's just starting to brown off, and this is finished. It's just starting to change colours. It's browning off at the right time. Been keeping up with the videos with the multi-finish. We've been having a problem with areas browning off and other areas still being wet. Have a look at them. I've done quite a few videos now, 3 or 4. I'm using the multi-finish over a painted surface, which has been given the most issues. So I'm going to talk about that another part of the video if I haven't already spoken about it in this video already. So this is a sort of residue I'm getting out of there at this point, which is minimal, no good for anything. I didn't know what I've been missing, to be honest with you. I forgot how plaster could be. Yeah, as I say, it's not B2, not B3, it's the 5 number code, and it's board finish, and it was a welcome relief to the multi-finish that I've been using. Time's about 12 o'clock. Done. So there you go. What do we want? Board finish. When do we want it? Now. We're a funny bunch here in Britain, aren't we? There's nobody else that plasters the way we do. I mean, Americans drywall, you know, if you go somewhere on the continent, it's just a bit of sharp sand and stuff, and just thrown on the sponged up. It's perfectly acceptable there, isn't it? It's fine. But we are sticklers, aren't we, for the gypsum plastered walls. I don't think anybody else does it anywhere else in the world like the way that we do. The British love it. So, it begs the question, doesn't it really? Why have we got bad multi-finish, it would appear? There's a couple of reasons why. Like I said, I've been getting quite a bit of people talking to me about different things to do with this bad state of multi-finish we've been having recently. I've never really had a problem with it, and it's nothing to do with the season changes, not like this. They don't put retarder in it. That has been confirmed by British Gypsum. They do not change the mix for the summer and the winter. They used to many years ago, but they don't do that anymore. They probably did it before the days of central heating. That doesn't happen. So why is there such a stark difference between board finish and multi-finish at the moment? Now, I was doing a little bit of research and going quite deep into it, like Morpheus. I'll show you how far the rabbit hole goes. Alice in Wonderland. So in the United States, I was looking at a bit of information, and it said there's a national park there where gypsum is formed in a very unique way, where it's formed in granules, and they've got these gypsum sands, these gypsum deserts, and it's protected. But there's enough gypsum there to last America for the next 1,000 years, they say. Now, I had a little look, because I've been hearing some bits and pieces, and I'm thinking to myself, how much gypsum do we have here in the UK, being the small little island that we are? And I came across some figures that I found on Google, and it's approximate, okay, so don't hold me to this. Now, I was going to look them up, but I'm using my phone to film this. But the numbers I recall were, there's something like 1.5 to 2.2 million tonnes of gypsum plaster or gypsum products produced in the UK every single year. And there's also a certain amount which is imported in, which equates to something like 4 million tonnes every year of gypsum. Now, I was looking at some figures, and they reckon, I might have to look at them again. But basically, the figures I looked at and what they approximately is left might be something like, hold on a minute. Sorry, I couldn't find it, and I'm running out of battery. I need to get this video done. And yeah, so the figures I looked at, the reserves are so many millions of tonnes, and I worked out the average of how many tonnes are being produced every year compared to what the estimated gypsum reserves are in the UK, and it worked out that we might have enough gypsum for the next 30 years. And the state of that gypsum, how pure is it? So I don't know what's happening. Maybe they're trying to stretch things a little bit. Maybe they're looking for alternative ways, which is going to prolong the ability for the UK to produce gypsum in the way that it does. Otherwise, they might have to start looking at alternative ways of obtaining it. This is what I've looked at, and this is my own ideas, my own research has led me to think in this direction. How much gypsum do we have left in this country? Is British plastering a thing of the past? Is it dead in the next 30 years? I'll be retired by then, I'm sure, unless they've come out with some sort of exoskeleton device that's going to make me become a robot and be able to plaster for the next 200 years. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, what's happening? I don't know. Maybe our reserves are not so reserved as we thought they were. And maybe that's why they're messing around with things a little bit. None of this has been confirmed, and I haven't put that to British Gypsum at all, but I'm just wondering, yeah, could that be it? So, that's probably the end of this video, because it's like 40 odd minutes already and I'm chatting now. So, yeah, should we wrap this up? I've got another video that I forgot to do. I didn't realise. I was uploading the footage from the phone and I realised, oh, there's a video I forgot to do. I've got so much. So I might do that straight away after this one. But this one, I'm going to see, what is the time now? It's 4:15. Will I have time to get this one up tonight? Probably not, to be honest with you. I might see if I can get it up for Saturday morning. So guys, what's the conclusion? Well, that board finish was absolutely amazing compared to the multi-finish. I much preferred working with it. Had a quicker turnaround. It trailed up lovely. It's up to us as the consumers, I think, to ask for it. Let's get board finish. Let's be able to do that. I've asked around at a load of places. I've been asking around at Travis's, I've been asking around at my local wigs, I've been asking some load of outlets and stuff. It's all multi-finish. So yeah, let's get board finish. That's what I say. Or yeah, let's make. Is there a place for multi-finish anymore? Because I'm going to go on a little bit more. Because we always used to do it, and I've already mentioned this in the previous video. We used to do it because it's got more fine particles in it. This is what I've been told by British Gypsum. That's the only difference between board finish and multi-finish. Multi-finish has more of the finer particles in it. So what happens is it holds more water. So if you're going onto a high suction background, as in how things used to be done with float and set, which is a very, very rare situation to find yourselves in these days. Nobody wants float and set. They want the quick turnaround of the ball being plasterboarded and skimmed. They got the drying time. They can turn it around. They can decorate it. Nobody wants float and set. So is multi-finish dead? You know, is there a need for it anymore? Do we just need board finish now? Because in the situation I'm in, I'm like I say, I'm a sole trader. I do 100% of my work is going over plasterboard and painted surfaces, and all I can get is multi-finish, which isn't, according to what I've just experienced with this board finish, is not the ideal material to be using. I want board finish. That's what I want. It's got bigger granules in it, and it holds itself together. It's got less water in it. It's better for lower suction. And where I've had trouble with the multi-finish, as bad as it has been, when it has been suction, when I've been going over plasterboard, it's been fine. Okay, board finish, it's been fine going over plasterboard. It's when I've used that multi-finish and I've had to prime a surface which has got absolutely zero suction on it, that's where it's really playing up. And that's where it popped off on the beginning of the video. Now, what I forgot to mention on that beginning of the video is it popped off that painted surface, but where the skirting line was, which didn't have paint on it, and it was over bare old plaster, it was stuck rock on there. It wasn't a problem. And there was a coving. The coving had been removed, so there was no paint behind that coving line at the top. Up there, stuck like a rock. Perfect. It was that painted surface it popped off. And, you know, what sort of paint was it? Was it a washable paint, a kitchen paint? That's what upset it. And that's what it popped off with. And that's the issues I've been having. Priming, no suction surfaces, actually trying to glue that multi-finish to the wall. It's not been behaving very nice at all. But that board finish, I want it. I want it every day now. So let's see what happens, shall we? They're coming to collect the samples. Us as plasterers, as consumers, we need to speak about it, and then we are. Obviously there's loads of talk about it online. I've been doing loads about it. Smooth has just started complaining about it. Till the next video, guys, have a good one. Try to get board finish if you can. Alright, take it easy. Well, that's the other thing I was going to say as well. Sorry to keep going on. So, is there an impurity? Are they giving us more impure multi-finish? Is that what they're testing it on? And is it testing okay at production, but because of the impurities in it, is the shelf life being affected? Because I'm going to give you some information that I've gathered. The multi-finish with the B2 or B3 code ending in January, shelf life to then has been pretty bad. And I picked some up which had the end date in March, and it wasn't so bad. But then I had some again that felt gooey again, and that had an end date of March. That stuff that popped off was a January end date again. So is that what's happening? Is that why it's not being picked up by British Gypsum at the production? Is it affected the shelf life? They're coming to collect it, like I told you, and they're going to go and test it. So the scientists there are going to work their magic, hopefully. And I'm in correspondence with them. I don't want to do anything to stop that from happening. I want to be able to give them as much information as possible for them to help us. Help us, help you. Help me, help you. You know, that's the attitude we really need to be having if we want it. So yeah, I mean, we can complain, but let's give them all the information, and we have been doing that. Don't forget to come over to the Facebook group Plaster Master Smurf 74 if you want to give us some information about your experiences with multi-finish, or if you just want some advice, or you want to give some advice. It's a much easier place, I find, for us to engage information and trade it with each other rather than just the YouTube platform. Right guys, this definitely is the end of this video. Take it easy, have a fantastic weekend. It's Friday, I've got the weekend off, apart from having to meet the product support manager on Sunday morning to give him my plaster samples. Other than that, yeah, got a nice weekend off, and I'm looking forward to it. Right, take it easy, see you on the next video.